You're listening to the Biohackers World Podcast.
Hi, biohacking fam. My name is Dr. Cybil. I am an epidemiologist, the founder of Miami Vibes magazine, and the author of Eat Like a Pro. Welcome. We are here live at Biohacking World Miami, and we are so excited to be here. Joining me today is the amazing Linda, who is a total game changer in the world of wellness and biohacking. Linda, you have quite the unique and inspiring story. Can you please tell us a little bit about what it was like for you growing up?
Well, thank you for having me on. Basically, I was born deaf in one ear, and they actually didn't discover it until I was in the third grade.
That's insane.
Yes. So somehow I figured out how to navigate the world and fool everybody.
Wait. Even your family didn't know?
No one really knew.
Wow,
Yeah. So,
nice.
and then things changed as I got later in life.
Of course.
And both my mother and sister developed breast cancer about 6 months apart. And I was a teacher at that time. And I was told that I should just have a double mastectomy because
Just
my
in
mother
case.
and sister had breast cancer. And I chose not to do that because they hadn't even done a test. That was just their advice. And so I quit teaching school, and I actually got my ND certification and started in the whole, holistic health field and learned all about frequencies, and then finally developed a product called the WAVwatch that applied frequencies to our life.
I love that. That's so good. You have such an amazing, inspiring story. How did that early experience shape your view of wellness and healing?
I think as we grow up, we are just put into the same steps that everybody else follows. And my mother went to the doctor, and she'd had 30 mammograms by the time her breast cancer was discovered, and then 5 more after that discovery. And my sister had also had 20 mammograms. She was the same age as I was, or just a year older. And I'd had 1 mammogram, and she'd had 20. So my view, converged from hers at some point in time. And it's like, I don't think I like what, they're offering for us.
Yeah.
And so I started looking around just because of some of those ideas, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, it was very sad. I read your story, and it was very saddening to hear that both your sister and your mom had to go through this. Can you share what moments or emotions from that experience motivated you to take action and start your own breast health venture?
Yes. And so just because of that,
Yeah.
I was really insulted that my doctor would not really give me any better choices than that. And, as a teacher, I did all kinds of things,
Right.
to create. So I'm going, I can figure out something better than that. And I started a business called BRAS, Breast Research Awareness and Support,
Yes.
and started working with thermography instead of mammography to provide health care in different manners for women. So I've had that for about 20 years, and I have several franchises basically working with me. And so that was just a huge step. And what I found over the years was that women had so many things that could cause their breast problems. It could be their emotions. It could be 8 teeth, 2 up and 2 down on each side that drain down into their breasts. It could have been E. coli or parasites or bacteria. And I've had one woman that got bit by a horse that caused her breast problems,
Wow.
So you never know what,
Can't
And so
pinpoint
finally
something.
one day I had so many supplements, so many ideas that I was working with women, and, a little booklet printed. And finally it's like, God, tell me something simpler to do,
Give me the answer.
And it's just like frequencies.
Wow.
Oh, thank you, Lord. It was an answer.
I love that. And what are some misconceptions about breast cancer screening or prevention still exist and that need to change?
I think so. Just like I mentioned, the mammograms are very, to me, they're very dangerous. They do increase the risk of breast cancer.
Yeah.
They are.
Ugh.
Radiation,
Interesting,
And then what woman doesn't know that if you're squeezed an 1/8 of an inch thick or 1/4 of an inch thick and you have something already, that it's going to spread it,
Right.
So that's why I went into the thermography, which I found out the history that they started about the same time. But,
interesting.
One seemed to gain traction. There was more money to be made in that other, in the mammography.
Always a money thing.
I think it is. And the thermography was very much simpler to do, but no radiation, and gave women a lot of different answers.
I mean, what an insight, right? What a difference that can make.
Yes.
And as for someone who's combined compassion with technology, how do you talk to women about body trust, helping them tune into subtle signs before a disease even develops?
Well, sometimes they're not getting the subtle signs, but they can see it on the thermography. So, I developed a whole booklet to show before and after pictures of women who had a problem. And a huge one that stands out in my mind is I had a lady who had a thermogram, and it was bright red. You're supposed to have cool blues and greens in specific areas on your breast, and her breasts were bright red. And so when I worked with her and figured out her lifestyle, she drank Diet Pop every day, about 8 to 10 cans.
Yeah.
And so she was concerned enough that she stopped drinking that, and then she came back in 2 weeks and it all cleared up. So they could see, we can visually see things. And then when they change it, changes show up on the camera.
So when people undergo this technology, do you think they're confident enough to just stick with it, or do you think they go on doing a mammography as well?
Well, it goes both ways, because we never want to be responsible for anything.
Right.
But if a woman really does have a lump and it's concerning, it's like, okay, start here.
And
These are
then-
some things that we suggest you do. Make sure you work with your doctor also. So it varies.
It goes hand in hand. But is it something you recommend or no?
What is...
Like getting them out and just sticking to one, or do you recommend?
No, I suggest both. There's
Yeah,
problems,
okay.
and there are women that do need more support than the thermography shows that. And the thermography is read by medical doctors who are suggesting that they go ahead and have such and such done. So it goes both ways.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the device that you created, right? The WAVwatch. I want to hear about it. How did you get into this idea? Like, this is your baby.
Right. Yeah, so it really all was because of my mother and my sister.
Yes.
I had the idea about frequencies because I was, had the beginning of not hearing very much. And when I finally kind of got that kick started to do that, the technology was there. I had actually gone to a company 10 years previously to try to get it developed, and the technology wasn't there. So I and the money that they wanted to try to develop it, was not there either. And so I let
Not
it
like a mammography.
Yeah. So I let it set for about 10 years, and then we developed all kinds of new things with sound, and
Nice.
so I was able to find a place to develop it for me, and it just really fell into place. And I was able to get it launched right during COVID.
Oh, wow.
So that was very, very interesting. And for a lot of businesses, they didn't survive COVID, but my business thrived.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And wearable wellness is just such a crowded field. What sets your device apart from the others? Like, how do you cancel the noise?
Yeah, I like to make it easy. People are walking around with watches that monitor something. That's all they do. They monitor.
Yes.
The WAVwatch is something that tries to fix 1,100 health problems or self-care problems. So would you rather be told that you walk 10,000 steps today, or, hey, you hurt your ankle, here's a frequency.
How can we fix it?
Yeah, here's a frequency to try. Or, hey, you have a migraine, you have something on your wrist that will help it. You got bit by a bee today, there's a frequency for stings. You have urinary tract problems, there's a frequency right there. So people start to get addicted to it, and they wear it 24 hours a day because they know that their life is completely different and things can change very quickly.
Linda, you're so cool.
Well,
So
thank you.
excited that you created this device.
Well, it's so easy because people, everyone does know that we have a frequency, that everything has a frequency.
Yes.
And we've measured these frequencies over 100 years ago, but we literally did not do anything with them. It's very sad to say that.
That is very sad.
And there is a reason behind that. But, the father of frequencies is considered to be Dr. Raymond Royal Rife. But his invention and his amazing microscope that he developed that showed that things would actually disintegrate when introduced to different frequencies was actually destroyed and put away, and he died a penniless man when it was one of the greatest inventions ever. And so that was done actually by the AMA, who decided that frequencies should be illegal to use over 100 years ago.
This is kind of something that came to mind that I didn't plan for before. Have you ever heard of bioscans? Is that something that you use in conjunction to your device?
I think I use something a little bit different. Mine's called an MSA, but it is a type of bioscan, and that's really a tool that gave me a lot of information that I could go forward with and put some of those ideas into the WAVwatch.
Right, because that's something also that you can pinpoint, like if there's something that you need to correct and stuff like that. Okay.
Right.
Very cool.
And so when I was developing the WAVwatch, I had a lot of women with breast problems. That was my specialty. Come into my office, and 9 women had breast lumps go away in about 30 minutes. Now, I didn't say that was a double-blind study or anything.
Right.
I'm just saying in my experience.
Right.
And so
and
we're
everyone's
hoping
different.
now.
No,
Yeah.
it may not happen for everybody.
Right. And at this stage, we're hoping to get, a study of it, but that helps me to know that we're heading in the right direction.
I love that. And how do you think technology will transform how we approach breast health screening and monitoring in the next decade?
Well, it's probably going to take longer than a decade.
You're not wrong.
Because things tend to go very, very slowly and different tools die out at different rates. But I'm hoping that women will start to wake up and realize that there are some easier things to be done that are less dangerous to their health and very much easier than some of the ideas that have been given to us before.
Okay. You're right. Things take time, and people are so skeptical of certain things.
Right.
And in terms of wellness biohacking world, people can be so skeptical and just very skeptical. How do you handle the skepticism and the criticism?
Well, that is a very interesting question because even in my own family, I have skepticism.
Yes, I'm sure.
But the proof is in the changes. Like they always say, the proof is in the pudding. And so when you see somebody who has such a rapid change, like at one of the conventions that we were at, a lady came up who had essential tremors. Very bad. She hadn't been able to hold a glass of water for almost 3 years.
Yes.
And someone put the WAVwatch on her, set on nerves and inflammation, and she felt a little, a
little pulse.
Go up the side of her finger, and within 3 minutes, her tremors were gone. That had been there for 3 years.
Linda, you're a bit of a witch.
So I could tell you things like that all day long, and then you start to believe it. But when it's you that feels the change,
of course.
Voila.
Yes. All right. I love that. And what would you consider your biggest maybe failures or missteps in this process?
Just how to work with different production in getting the product made. So there's always something that steps up or steps down, that changes in the production, and to get it as solid and straight has been our biggest problem because it's really grown, and I've actually been able to include my 2 sons in the business, which was
nice.
Great.
It's a family thing.
Yes, now it's definitely a family thing. And then I have different other employers or employees for customer service, and it's just been great to have a larger family that gets incorporated into this particular technology.
It's always nice to have things with family. And I hear you have something super exciting that you'll be releasing. Tell us about your upcoming book that documents your health journey. What message are you trying to portray, and what hope are you trying to give to others?
Well, I'm just trying to tell people that have the skepticism, that we need to open our eyes, that this has been around for 2,000 years. Ancient cultures knew to use music to heal.
Like, what are we doing?
And now, all of a sudden, we can measure the healing that has been before our eyes for thousands of years. And somehow we got sidetracked into thinking that this really didn't work when it does work. So it's just a book that gives you more and more information about the technology and the science behind there's at least 400 studies out that verify that music, which is the concept of the WAVwatch, it's just different tonal sounds or music that work with your body to change your mind, your emotions, and your physical being. 400 studies. Why don't we believe it? Why don't we develop more tools?
Skeptic, let me tell you.
Because we've been told, like I said, 100 years ago, they made sure that frequencies were not used because they actually wanted to go to more prescriptions that were made with chemicals and oils.
convenient. And the music that comes with this watch, is it pre-registered, or people can do their own sound list, or?
No, it's all keyed in. They just need to select the idea that they're having trouble with. So actually there are 1,100 different frequency sets on the watch for 1,100 different problem ideas, but we have organized them into 150 different sets. So they can go through and choose, and then that's all they have to do is choose the word, and then it plays, quote unquote, the frequency or a song, which sounds a little bit more like a bee buzz.
Okay, awesome. Linda, like I said, you're super cool. I cannot wait to be you when I grow up. This has been super inspiring. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that the rest of your time here at Biohacking World is amazing. I hope other people are able to hear your story, get inspired, and I'm just super excited. Can't wait to read your book. I'll be buying it, and you'll be signing it. So.
All right. Thank you very much.
To everyone out there, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next year.
I'm already looking forward to the next events in 2026, Los Angeles and to Chicago and to New York, and I know in January after there's going to be Miami as well.